So I'm not sure that if it was either Kamala Harris or Rice, obviously they were sort of neck and neck in things like predicted, is an immediate market mover. I think if there had been a surprise pick, if it was somebody on the more progressive end of the spectrum, that might have ruffled some feathers. But just in quick glancing after the news broke, and you know, I wasn't on there, I just kind of looked at Twitter. But of course, on Twitter, you're going to see people with their own biases that already existed and will have either positive things to say or negative things to say. But in general, we just have not felt that this election would really have the potential to become a market mover until after Labor Day in terms of what campaign platforms look like. I think the biggest issue for the market in terms of volatility would be if it is indeed a contested election. I think that's probably top of mind for a lot of investors.
Well, let's talk about that as well. Let's also bring in Chris Krueger from Cowen Washington Research Group, also with us on the phone here. Welcome back, Chris. We'll talk to you in the last hour. Now that we've got the VP pick for Joe Biden is Kamala Harris, what's your initial reaction? What would you tell investors to expect that this means?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, investors should sort of breathe a sigh of relief. I mean, I think there was fear that it could be Elizabeth Warren. We didn't think that, but that, you know, I think with Harris, Biden is governing first and foremost sort of by the political Hippocratic oath, which is to do no harm with the VP pick, and I think that's what he's done. Harris always sort of checked the most boxes, and I think the real focus now will be who could be in a potential Biden cabinet, which is where, you know, I think there will probably be some investor heartburn.
But Chris, you don't expect full cabinet announcements or suggestions to come before the election, do we?
We could. Biden has sort of intimated that there might be some. I mean, this is obviously a very unique election. So the conventions are virtual, or at least the Democratic convention is virtual. And there was always this idea that Biden, who has, you know, struggled from campaigning from his basement in Wilmington, although his poll numbers have increased while he's been there. The idea was, why not, you know, sort of flood the zone, as it were, with the potential cabinet picks to sort of give Biden a heat shield, but to also put out some of the new, you know, talent in the Democratic Party and really kind of do sort of a team of rivals from the 2020 cycle.
I mean, clearly there was a lot of anticipation, as there always is, on the VP pick. But, Chris, I feel like even more so this time. Can you characterize the importance of this decision, whether it's because of Biden's age, I don't know, the fact that he might not seek a second term, the state of the country in the middle of a pandemic and a crisis? Feels like there's a lot at stake here.
Yeah, all of the above. Look, Joe Biden, if he wins, will be the oldest president ever on January 20th. So, yes, and, you know, Biden has also made a big sort of campaign thread, so to speak, of being sort of, you know, passing the torch to the next generation. So, and when you look at it, I think it's 7 of the last 15 vice presidents have gone on to become president. Obviously, that ratio would increase if Biden wins. So, yeah, no, huge stakes here, and Biden would appear to have sort of gone with the safe pick, which is also what you do when you're winning in most of the polls.
Lizanne, was it fair to conclude from your comment earlier that aside from the risk of a potentially contested election, that if we do see the market pull back because of election fears, that would be a buying opportunity?
It depends on the trajectory of the virus at that time, depends on the nature of the economy. I think that really comes into play with regard to the election, too. This idea that everything is static right now and platforms on the campaign will represent policy in the immediate aftermath of the election. That's never been the case, certainly not in this environment. So I think the health of the economy as we get closer to the election, I think will decide whether we have election-related volatility or not. Generally, I think these have been buying opportunities. We've been recommending investors rebalance a bit more frequently, let volatility work in your favor to stay in gear with the market, trim into strength, add into weakness. And that's about the best tack you can take in this very uncertain environment.